I mean, this is like a WWE or something, you know? How you doing? See. I don't know, maybe jump off the ropes and, you know, take down or something. Say it again? Oh, yeah, this is, I just saw my first tumbleweed. I've never seen a tumbleweed in my entire life. We don't have tumbleweeds in Alabama or South Carolina. We're coming down the road on a bus, and this huge, like, ball of sticks. That's the only way I can. It just comes right at the bus. I'm like, what the heck is that? And he says, that's a tumbleweed. And anyway, I thought those were just like in Roadrunner or the movies or something. But unbelievable. I literally just saw my first tumbleweed. I've not spent any time of my life, you know, in this area. So this is pretty cool. Neat for our guys, too, to land. Yesterday was beautiful, so to land and to see all the mountains and just, you know, the beauty that this area has to offer, especially flying in. We got to see the snow-capped mountains, and then all of a sudden there was no snow, and then it was flat, and then it looked like Mars with moguls, and then it was farmland. It was just like all this unique terrain coming out here. Just a fascinating country and world that we live in. Yeah. Yeah, I actually talked to David last night. He couldn't come. His wife's going to come over to the game and hang out with Kath, but he's flying out this morning to the our coaches convention is going on at the same time. But so that's really the only time and I really don't even know where I am. But apparently I'm only like 20 minutes from Palo Alto. But we came in here and spent the night with them and went to dinner. He showed us around Stanford. And then he took us down to San Francisco, and he toured us, and we had like a 3-hour tour. Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. Although it was fascinating. The streets, and he took us down I think it's either the crookedest street or steepest street. I can't remember what that was. What's it called? Yeah. And he took us and showed us, you know, the pier area and Alcatraz, and went over to the old military base right on the water. Just, you know, it was neat. It's a very unique part of the country for sure. Yeah, everybody's here, and good healthy week of practice, and ready to go. Was I playing high school ball? Were you covering when I was playing high school ball? That's what I thought. See, I recognize a couple of faces. Yeah, it's just amazing. It really is. I mean, it's just, you know, I'm so proud of where I come from. You know, people, I'll never say I'm from Birmingham. I was born in Birmingham. I was born at South Highlands Hospital and grew up in West End. I literally lived right behind West End High School. And till I was 4 and a half. And then my mom and dad, I guess, you know, this little bitty town in the middle of nowhere at the time, Pelham, no interstate, nothing. It was a long way to Pelham from Birmingham. I guess some houses were popping up and cheap and that kind of stuff. And so it was kind of we moved out to Pelham. But my grandmother lived on 20th, right off 20th Street in Inslee, you know, her whole life. And so I grew up going to Birmingham all the time up in Inslee. Cutting my grandmother's yard and hanging out up there, and so you know, technically I was born in Birmingham, but I was raised in Pelham, and you know, I will always consider that home. And even though Pelham has changed, and you know, there's I-65 going through it now, and we even have an amphitheater now in Pelham. You know, it's still home, and I still got a lot of friends there, and you know, that's what shaped me. That's all I can say. I mean, I think that, you know, we're all shaped from and by our experiences of life. And for me, you know, growing up in Pelham and going to Valley and River Chase and Pelham High School, and, you know, being around all my coaches and Billy Toehill and Jim Verkakis, Paul Kellogg and Coach Crook and Jim Phillips and, all that crew and all the great teachers I had, those people are the ones who really shaped me and helped fuel a belief in me. I was always the shortstop, always the point guard, I was the captain, and, but I had a belief in all those things because of the teachers and the coaches that put me in leadership roles early on. And I just had this drive, and I know that came from my experiences with my family and all the people who helped shape me. Mayor Hayes, who's coming out here, he's going to be here today, and so it was a special journey. And for me, I ended up at Alabama. I had some opportunities. I remember my basketball coach called me in his office. He's still mad at me to this day because Coach Kellogg, he thought I was a really good basketball player, and I think I was pretty good too. But he wanted me to play college basketball, and he felt like, and he had some people that were interested, and he was like, "Are you going to do this, or am I just wasting my time?" And I'm like, I said, "Coach, you're wasting your time. I'm going to Alabama." Once I realized that I could go to Alabama, I didn't know that I could go to school. I thought I was going to have to go a JUCO route and either play baseball or play basketball or go to a smaller school and play football. I thought that was going to be the route I was going to have to go until one of my counselors told me that I would qualify for what was called a Pell Grant. I didn't know what a Pell Grant was, and I didn't know how to do student loans. I had no clue. I had no collegiate background in my family of how to do that type of stuff. And so once I found that out, I'm like, man, I'm going to Alabama. And that was my dream as a kid, and so that's what I did. So I moved to Alabama, and in the summer of '88, moved in a little apartment, and got my student loans, got my Pell Grants, and ended up being there till spring of '01. So I was there. I went when I was 18. I left when I was 31. So Tuscaloosa was also a huge part of shaping me. The experiences I had as a student athlete, the challenges, again, the drive, going into the walk-on program with Rich Wingo and Terry Jones and surviving that to get a chance to be a part of the team and chase my dream, and the relationships that I developed, and then just the success, little goals, make the team, make a travel squad, make a road travel squad, get in a game, get in the rotation, make some plays, be a starter on special teams. It was just, make all conference academic, and all those type of things. And so all those goals that I had from the structure of my time as a student athlete and the people who poured into me and the men, that believed in me and gave me an opportunity, from Tommy Bowden and Bill Curry when I first got there, Terry Jones, Rich Wingo, to Woody McCorvey and Gene Sollins, Homer Smith, all these folks. And then just talked to Coach Stallings yesterday before I flew out here. And, I was going to work, finished up. I'm getting ready to take a job. And he's like, you need to get a master's. You start in July. You're going to be a GA for me. And so the next thing I know, I'm coaching. And but it's, to me, I think when you're seeking God's guidance for your life, when you're seeking God to order your steps, he will order those steps. He will put the right people in your path and open the right doors. And sometimes what our plan is, because we have the greatest plans of all time as people, but God's plan is always different. It's always perfect, and it's always sometimes very surprising. And so for me, I didn't go to college to be a coach. I went to be a doctor, and then I was going to run a hospital and get my MBA and go do my thing. And in '93, Coach wanted me to be a GA, and just like that, I had clarity of my life on this is what I'm supposed to do. This is my calling, and this is why my journey has been the way it's been since I was a little kid, because God was shaping me and preparing me for what I'm doing right now. And so that's just how I look at it. And I'm so thankful for all the people and the experiences that I've had along the way. And that's what's brought me here. And, it's just surreal to be in this situation. It's such a blessing. I mean, there's so many young people that never get an opportunity to kind of be a part of something like this. And there's certainly so many great coaches that never get a chance to be a part of this. And so for me to do it as a player, and now my third time as a coach, to experience, I mean, it's just so cool to be able to compete at the highest level on this type of stage against the very best. You know, as a kid growing up, that's what you want. You dream about stuff like this. So to actually be able to live it, man, I'm just so thankful. And I prayed that this morning. I'm just thankful to have the opportunity to be a part of it, and I don't take it for granted. I just have such a great appreciation for how hard it is, and for how hard it is for so many people to come together with a common purpose. It's indescribable. And but it all starts with a belief. And for me, that belief started as a little kid, you know, in Pelham, Alabama, a belief in myself and a belief in a future and a hope in a future that was greater than my present circumstances. You know, I always had that. And that's what's driven me my whole life. Yeah. Well, a couple things. I think, first of all, coaches, more than anybody, really understand what it takes and how hard it is and how just small the margin for error is. And so, you know, I think there's very few coaches who haven't lost. So we've all been on both sides of it. And I think we can have a great appreciation for success, but also failure as well, and what comes with both. But I think the biggest thing also is how hard it is to have consistency. And, you know, we're two programs that have been the most consistent over the last probably 9 years, I guess, 8 or 9 years. And I think that I have a great respect for what he's been able to do, and I think he has grown in that with us. You know, I don't think he knew where Clemson was when he came to Alabama, to be quite honest with you. And he dang sure didn't know who I was, and I didn't know who he was. We had never met. I don't think we got off to a very good start because, you know, he offered me a job when he first came to Alabama, but I didn't know him, and I didn't take the job, and so I don't know that we got off to a good start there, and never even met. And so I don't know, maybe a year or so later, I'm the head coach at Clemson as an interim, and then I get the job. And so that spring, I think spring of '09 was the first time I was kind of around him at a kind of a head coach function type deal. And so that's kind of when we started to get to know each other a little bit differently, and then some different events, you know, with the RISE program in Tuscaloosa, and then obviously having to compete against each other, and then lo and behold, he buys a place down, you know. I mean, I'm the only guy on this island that knows anything about college football. I got kind of my own little world down there. It's just quiet, nobody's there. Go down there, and then all crap breaks loose. Nick Saban buys a place, and and so I'm on the south end, he's on the north end, and so he buys this place down there, and so that really kind of took our relationship to a more personal level as opposed to professional, because now every time we see each other, that's what we talk about, you know, when you're going down to the island, when you're going to say, you know, and when we are there, we overlap, we've you know, eaten burgers together, we've gone out on his boat, you know, we've played golf, so we always have a bet on this game whenever we have played. I've been on the losing end on that a couple times. It's there's a little dinner place down there that we both really like, but it's a very small little place, but it's interesting because you got one little grocery and one little pizza, and so we're like competing for wall space, you know, to claim Clemson dominance, and you got Alabama stuff down there, you know, so it's kind of neat. But so that took our relationship to a little more of a personal level and gave us something else to talk about other than football, and so it's been fun. Yeah, we talked about, not usually when we're there, But usually when I see him from time to time, right after the game, whether usually it's the Senior Bowl or something like that, we might have some few comments. But typically, we'll move on. I mean, it is what it is, And again, we both know that this is a game that both teams work so hard to get to. And there's going to be a winner, there's going to be a loser, and when it's over, guess what? You start over for next year. And, that's the way it is. You don't get to carry it over. You enjoy it in a moment, and then you move on to the next one. But it's been great getting to know him. I mean, it's literally like competing against John Wooden. I mean, the guy's unbelievable. It's unbelievable what they've been able to do year in and year out, and, the dominance that they've had. So we're lucky that we've won one. We had a chance in that first one, and just, they made a few more plays than we did, but maybe we can find a way to win this one and have a little bit of a rubber match against them. I think I've just probably enjoyed this maybe more than any other season, any other time. I think in 15 it was so new, and I was kind of, as a coach, learning a lot about it, and just the planning and all the logistics involved, and how I need to practice my team. The timing of it was different too. The actual schedule and amount of prep time has changed. My first year, we were also in school, and that was a weird dynamic for me. They were not in school, we were in school, and it was just a lot of different things that we were juggling. And it was kind of a blur, to be honest with you. 16, that team, it was almost like that whole season, everybody just wanted to hit fast forward. Okay, can we just get there? We know where we're going. Can we just get there? And it doesn't work that way. And I thought that team, that was a little more of a grind. But once we got there, I mean, they were ready, and we won the game. Whereas this year, it's almost like we've hit pause a lot. And this is really cool. Let's enjoy this journey. And I think that's, to me personally, has been the biggest difference. I have just really enjoyed this team, the preparation, just the mundane day-to-day stuff that comes with getting ready and just being around these guys. This is an incredible group of young people. I mean, I told them the other day, I can't wait to see what these guys do 20 years from now when I'm old and we can get together for one of these reunions or something. I can't wait to see what they do in life. I mean, this is an amazing group of young people. They won the AFCA Academic Award. First time. Had 66 guys make a 3.0 or better. I mean, we just the focus, the leadership, the commitment, and just their appreciation for the journey has really made it a joyful season for me. I'm going ladies first. Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. I always tell people, I mean, I as a person of faith, I just think God's hand is on everything. I really do. And we weren't going to sign no one. And so after that first national championship game in Arizona, we had 4 juniors leave, DBs, because we weren't recruiting DBs. I didn't have any spots for DBs. And all of a sudden I got 4 guys go, and I got like 2 weeks to recruit. And so we got Isaiah Simmons, we got Trayvon Mullen, and we got Kayvon Wallace. And I didn't know any of them until about 10 days before signing day. And all 3 starters for us. And then I called, I said, let me go back and let me look at Nolan Turner, because we didn't have a scholarship. And so now I'm looking for guys, and we're looking at all these guys, and I watched this tape, and I'm like, man, this guy. And so I called Buddy Anderson, who I've known forever, and his exact words to me, he said, and he's coached a million players at Vestavia, and he said, Coach, this is as good a player as I've ever had. He said, I don't understand what people are missing and why. And I said, well, that's all I needed to hear. I said, because I watched this tape. I said, this guy's twitchy. He's fast. He's instinctive. He's got ball skills. He's tough. And obviously he's got the genetics. He's got the DNA. I know what he's made of. And so I took his film down to show Brent, and I didn't even tell Brent who he was. Like, hey, what do you think about this kid? It's like, man, he's good. Where's he? Who's he? And I'm like, that's all I need to hear. And so I called Buddy, and I said, hey, I'm gonna I'm coming down tomorrow. And he thought I was going to come and try to get him to walk on. So I called Kevin, Kevin was with his dad, and so his dad put him on speakerphone, and that was a pretty cool moment. And he was just so proud. And of course, Kevin could still text, so I could almost see the tears on the text, of joy, knowing that Nolan was going to have this opportunity and that he was going to be around people who were going to love him and people that would be family to him. And so I was a teammate of KT's. Lemansky Hall was a teammate of KT's. Mickey Kahn was a teammate of KT's. Thad Turnipseed was a teammate. Woody McCorvey was a coach. Danny Pearman was a coach. J.C. Chalk is Gene Stallings' grandson. So it's just amazing some of how it's all come together. But, we've had our arms around Nolan and kind of through his walk. And, man, he's just blossomed, and he's grown into a great man. He's already a great football player, but he's just a sophomore. And last year as a redshirt freshman at Louisville, he tackled Lamar Jackson in the red zone, solo tackle, by himself. 99% of the time, you're not tackling Lamar Jackson one-on-one for a touchdown. He tackles him in the open field. And I remember right then I went, all right, boys, Nolan, he's coming. And so, now another year, he's like 212 pounds. His body's just, every time I look at him, to be honest with you, I feel like I'm back in 1989 because he looks exactly like KT. And, I know KT's just having a big old time up there in heaven. I know he's just as proud as he can be. And see Nolan have that big play in the Cotton Bowl. And now the opportunity the first time we played in the national championship was his freshman year. He was redshirted. And then obviously last year we didn't get here, but to be able to play Alabama in the national championship for that kid, it's just what a moment, and it's really cool to see how it's all worked out. Yep. What time is it? I'm so messed up on my clock. I'm like the old Timex. I have to switch it back. 3 hours. So it's 10:20 here. What time do they play? 1:30. I might see bits and pieces of it in between meetings, and we go to practice. But I certainly will keep up. And all those guys are coming out, so they're all going to be at the game, and excited to see them for sure. Oh, I don't know. I'm not looking for validation. That's what I believe. So I believe what I believe. I don't need anybody to validate me. I just think he's an amazing human being, and he's an incredible quarterback. He's really not doing anything any different than he's done his whole life. So he's just being Deshaun Watson, and I don't have any doubt you'll see the best version of him tonight or this afternoon, whenever it is his time. You'll see him. He'll be prepared. He'll play with his heart. He'll play with toughness and guts and courage, and he'll be a great leader, and he'll be inspirational with the guys around him. He'll battle to the last second, no matter what happens. And if he wins, he'll move on to the next one. If he loses, he'll be the first guy getting ready for next year. That's just how he's wired. Yep. Oh yeah. I'll definitely, sit down and have a little talk with him. But he's an easy guy to have a conversation with, because his mindset, and again his maturity and his focus is very rare for anybody. Well, that'll be between he and I. But the main thing is just be who he is, and the same things that won those other 14 games win this game. It's no different. It's just football. And he's really good at football, so he just needs to be who he is, and don't make it bigger than it is. And again, there's pressure on everybody, but I think the important thing is don't allow the pressure to exceed the pleasure of the moment. So it's really. Yeah, well, I can actually talk about him since he signed with us. It's huge. You know, he's a great player. He's a very skilled receiver. You know, big body that's going to develop tremendously when he gets into college. Awesome family, a great fit for our culture at Clemson. Very dynamic young player. He's one of those guys that he'll be like a Christian Wilkins. He's got amazing mind and leadership abilities. I mean, he is an incredibly well-rounded young person that I think will impact our community and impact a lot of people's lives through the platform of college football. He's so much more than just a good receiver, but I can't wait to get him a part of it. He's actually moving to Clemson tomorrow. So all those guys moving. He and Frank Ladson are out in the Army game. And I think it's the Army game, San Antonio. So they're out there playing ball, and they're moving to Clemson tomorrow. They're excited about it. They'll have a big watch party. But he's going to be a great player. And for me personally, it's my first recruit from California. So that's pretty neat to get my first guy from out here. And I got a chance to go to Folsom. I'd never been to Folsom. That was a neat experience a few weeks ago, flying out and getting to see the town and meet the coaches and all that. And so we're excited about it. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's one of the things for me I love to do in recruiting is go visit everyone, because I like to see where they're coming from, the culture they're coming from, because they're going to bring that with them. And you know, sometimes it helps you when you go, and you know, maybe it's not a great culture, it's a great kid, great player, but it helps me to kind of understand where I need to meet him, you know, to help get him where we need him to get, you know. And so as opposed to, you've got a kid that's coming from a lot of structure, a great culture, all those things. So it helps me navigate, because I think that's our job as coaches is to not expect them to meet us where we are. We got to go meet them right where they are and bring them along to help them, you know, achieve their potential. Say that again? Well, I don't think there's any question that we're as good a program as there is in the country. I mean, it's hard to say we're at the level of Alabama, because you know they've won. What, 6 national championships in the last few years. So, I mean, we gotta win. This is a great matchup. It's a heavyweight fight, but you know, for it to be a true rivalry, we got to win a few. There's no doubt about that. I mean, they've been the best, but program-wise, consistency-wise, year in and year out, there's no doubt that we're where they are. And but we're kind of the new kid on the block. This is our 3rd national championship appearance now in 4 years. So I think that certainly validates our level of consistency. But we still got a little ways to go. You know, I mean, we're proud members of the Roy bus. All right, we still it's. I think Stephen A. said it best, right? He said it's Alabama 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You know, and then it's everybody else. So we're like 6, and then you know, so we're working our way there. But I think for sure we've been the 2 most consistent programs in all of the country, you know, we got to finish the deal a few more times. Yeah, standard operating procedure. I mean, we're very familiar with Alabama. Same bat channel, same, you know, different bat day, I guess, bat time or whatever. They're phenomenal on defense. It's no different. I mean, you just turn the page, you know, whatever year, and they're great on defense. You can pick little things here or there. They're great on defense. They're built in the trenches. The biggest difference for them this year is just the explosiveness on offense. I mean, this is by far the best version of them we've seen offensively. I mean, it's unbelievable. And we're a lot alike. Dynamic quarterbacks, explosive skill, explosive run game, built through the run game and the play action and those type of things. So we're very similar in that way. But for us, we have a great understanding of who they are. But you got to stop it. I mean, they're not going to come in here and do something that they don't do. It's just stopping it is it's a challenge. So, and as it has been for other people with us. I mean, we've been two really difficult teams to handle offensively. But yeah, they got two thoroughbreds at quarterback. I've seen Jalen Hurts is a great player, and he what you saw in the SEC championship game. He won the game. He made 3 throws that very few people make, and he made them under pressure with tight coverage, and he created to make a couple of those plays. So it's a big challenge, for sure. But we just got to focus on what we got to do to stop what they do, regardless of who's playing quarterback. Say that again. Oh, yeah. Same thing we've done for 10 years. We start over every year, and you got to earn it every year. There's really no different. I mean, just because you were the best player last year doesn't mean you're the best player this year. You don't get to carry over anything. That's just the culture of our program, the philosophy of our program. It doesn't matter if you're a walk-on or a fifth-year senior. You got to prove it every year. Well, I start my meetings every year. I tell Cleveland, I'm like, Cleveland, congratulations. You had a great year last year. You were an All-American. I'm so proud of you. Guess what? You don't carry that over. All right? You got to prove that you deserve to be the starter this year. And then I'll say, and your job is to try to beat him out. All right? So that's just the culture we have. And our guys know that. So that's why Hunter Renfrow started as a redshirt freshman walk-on, because he was the best player. He earned it. And we had 5-star receivers on the sideline. Christian Wilkins came in and started as a true freshman. He beat some veterans out. He was the best player. Deshaun Watson came in and started as a true freshman. He beat veteran player out. So just because you're a veteran, or maybe you had a good year last year, that doesn't mean that you automatically are. It's kind of a starting point, but you have to prove it and earn it every day. And for us, it's no different. So regardless, whether it's the quarterback position, kicker position, line position, receivers, you prove it every year. Well, I think you worry about that at every position, but that's just the nature of it. So you better go recruit, and it's relationships. I think that you have to be able to develop relationships with your players and be able to articulate a clear vision for each individual. Not only what your goal for your team is, but also for them individually, for sure. And you have to, as a coach, create the buy-in into that. So. But, at the end of the day, guys are going to come and go, and they're going to do things. I'm happy. Listen, we had quarterbacks leave this year. Hunter Johnson, who is one of the best kids I've ever met. We have a great relationship. We still text each other. He's one of the best families I've ever known. And he's at Northwestern, and he's going to do phenomenal. So that's what he needed to do for himself. I didn't want him to leave, but that's what he felt like he needed to do. And he loved his time at Clemson. We have a tremendous relationship. Zarek Cooper, I just talked to him the other day, called him, tell him happy birthday. He just set records at Jacksonville State this year. Man, I'm so happy for him. I love my guys. And so it's relationship, it's being on the same page. I want to help them if that's what they want to do. And so we've had some guys come and go, but at the end of the day, my job is to recruit the very best player. I'm not trying to go recruit the backup. All right, let me go recruit 5 backups. I want to recruit the very best player each year, year in and year out, and then competition drives everything in your program when you're fair. And so that's no different for anybody else. You just got to do a good job in your evaluation. And we got a great quarterback coming in January. Chase Bryce is phenomenal. Chase Bryce is a quarterback that'll play in the NFL one day. He's on a path. His developmental path is right on track. This is going to be. He's a really good player. I see him every day in practice and what this kid can do. And he's already won a game for us this year, and he's going to have more opportunity along his journey to play. He played in a bunch of games, got some experience, but I'm thankful for all those guys. You just got to deal with it. Nothing you can do. Yeah, I don't think there's any question, that we are unique. We're very unique. Alabama is Alabama. I mean, the tradition that they have with Coach Bryant, and what he was able to do, and it's the 60s, the 70s, and then it was a little low in the 80s, but they were still, Alabama and the tradition and the brand. Whereas Clemson, we kind of had that one little run there in the 80s, and that's kind of when I got the job. Everybody talked about the 80s, the 80s, the 80s, the 80s, and everybody was, I think, living back in the day. And I'm like, man, we've got to, we got to build our own program, and that's what I wanted to do when I got the job. I didn't want to build a program. I wanted to build a program that was unique to Clemson, and I really had an understanding of Clemson and what it was going to take, and I had a deep belief in my vision and myself and what it would look like if we could just stay the course and kind of just take it one day at a time, one recruit at a time, one graduate at a time, and that's what we've done. But I definitely think we're unique because we're not some blue blood of college football. We're not the famous logo. Everybody sees some of these other schools out there that have this unbelievable tradition. But the cool thing for me is over the last decade, these kids growing up now, since they were 7 and 8 years old, this is the only version of Clemson they know. And really, that's all that matters. That's all that matters is today. We can sit around and talk about what happened 30 years ago if we want to, or we can be in the moment. And so that's what I love about it, where we are right now. And it's refreshing, like I said, for me to have a kid in California that wants to come to Clemson. So it's really neat. Yeah, maybe, yeah, probably, maybe with what Coach Bowden did at Florida State. They kind of came out of nowhere and built a program that, what Bobby Bowden did was amazing. So I think that there's some similarities there for sure as far as the consistency. And you can ask those questions now because, again, we've had 8, 10-plus win seasons in a row, and we've demonstrated staying power. And that's what I tell her. We're built to last. I always laugh. People, we have a coach leave, and, oh, well, they're going to stink. No, we get better. We have a great player leave. Oh, well, now Taj is gone. Now Deshaun's gone. Now Sammy's gone. Now, well, we're built to last. Our program is not about a coach. It's not about a player. It's about our program and the culture that we've established there. And so it's pretty neat to be a part of it. She's asked 3 times. I'm coming right back. Oh, you put me on the spot because I grew up in one town, so from kindergarten to elementary to middle school to high school. So So I knew all the teachers my whole life. I was very unique that way, from the time that I was in the 12th grade, I still knew my first grade teacher, second grade teacher, third grade teacher. And so I have amazing relationships, and I had so many of them that poured into me. And in fact, my 5th grade teacher just last week, Mr. Neri, she texted me just letting me know she's still watching. And so I've had so many great, it's hard for me to single out one teacher. But I can tell you this, I'm a product of all my teachers and coaches that I had in Pelham, Alabama, and some great teachers at the University of Alabama that have equipped me to be who I am today. Yeah, it's really hard to put into words. I mean, he just won the Campbell Trophy, so I've never had anybody win the Campbell Trophy, top student athlete in all of college football. Every semester of his entire collegiate career, as he's got a master's degree too, he's never made below a 3.0. I mean, he's so his impact, not just what he does on the field, but how he handles himself. Academically, socially, spiritually, how he serves his teammates, the example he sets. He's an outside-the-box kind of a guy in so many ways. How he's responded to things along the way, where there's been criticisms or whatever it may be. He's impacted our team because everybody pays attention to your superstar, so to speak. And he's not your typical guy. I mean, this is a guy, I always joke, he's going to either be the president of the United States or he'll be really good friends with. He's just one of those people that is going to, I can't wait to watch him in life. And he has so much fun living his life. Like, he enjoys practice. I've never been around a guy that enjoys practice more than Christian Wilkins. All of it. And so those are things that I think he's impacted so many other guys with, much more than the plays that he's made on the field, which has been a ton.
It's kind of cold in here.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you'll hear him say, he thought he was going to kind of go in there and impact these little kindergartners, and he was more impacted by them. Just their genuineness and sincerity, and they don't know who he is, and they don't care, but just the pureness of a child. I think he really took a lot from that, and helped him just kind of keep his feet on the ground and give him a perspective that I think is unique for a guy in his situation. The day he got there, literally, the first day, because we have a lot of stuff that we install. As a coach, you have a plan for what we call installation. This is day 1 install, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, and you're trying to teach everyone your system, offensively, defensively, et cetera. And his ability to absorb everything, first of all, so his mind, but then first day, his skill on the field, and watching, how he didn't look like a freshman. And that's exactly how Deshaun was. The biggest difference was, Deshaun was about 180 when he got there in January, and Trevor was probably 205, 6'6". And so physically he was a little bit ahead, but just his demeanor, his poise, his ability to absorb the playbook, I knew pretty early, man, this kid's going to be special. Yeah. I've thought about it a lot, and it's one of those things I constantly remind myself of. It's just little things. I want to take a picture with him on the field. Because I just want because I know that those are things 20 years from now that I'm going to cherish more than anything. It's just unique for me to be able to have this experience with my kids. They've grown up a part of it. And to see them now out there grinding every day and doing their part, it's special. It's, as a father, it's just so special, and it's helped me, I think, really engage with my team even more because, man, these are somebody's kid, and I know the love that I have from my own children. And so it's been special for me to experience that with them and to see Kath. And we're just trying to just love every second of it and not be distracted by things that don't matter, but just enjoy the journey. Yeah, Coach Stallings, you know, him having a grandson on our team. He was at practice last week at the Cotton Bowl, and Brad Scott, Jeff Scott. I mean, it's special. You know, it really is. I mean, we live family. We are family, and so I've loved every second of it. And I was talking to Jeff yesterday. You know, the whole narrative in the household, the Davis household, has a chance to change because Jeff Davis, you know, has kind of been the man for a long time, and he's got that. He's had that one national championship. Now his twin boys have a chance to get two. You know, they're twins, and everything comes in pairs with twins. So hopefully they can bring it home. Yeah. Yeah, well, you know, there's no team that's going to get here and not have some adversity or challenge along the way, and that was a lot of a challenge and adversity for us. Sometimes it can be injuries and things like that, but that was a tough moment for our team. But it was a galvanizing moment, not just that game, but that whole week, because obviously we had dealt with some challenge and some distractions and things like that, and to see our team just really kind of flex their muscles and show their heart, and to see how we had to play in the run game and how our defense had to step up in the second half to kind of allow Chase to kind of settle in, and then for Chase Bryce, you know, that 4th and 6 throw that he made, and then coming back and the run that he made to put us down there to set up the score was awesome, and that's kind of been a huge part of this team's story for this year. So regardless of what happens Monday night, you know, hopefully we can win the game, and that's a great part of it. But regardless, man, that's going to be always remembered as one of the biggest moments in this great season we've had. Oh, you Joey Chestnut? I see you like every July when there's like nothing on TV but the hot dog eating thing, and I know exactly who you are. Yeah. Well, Smoking Pig. Yeah, Smoking Pig. Yeah, you gonna ask me how I like my hot dog? All right, chili dog, mustard only. Dude, this is Joey Chestnut. I know exactly who you are. Pizza. Yeah. Oh, man, I don't know. Maybe 3. I have to stack them up, kind of push them down. What? I don't know how y'all do that. Do you just like go and puke for like a week? Oh my gosh. And you're.
Yeah, I got it. What is the message you plan to leave with your team?
Yeah, well, congrats. It's great to meet you. Yeah.
Class. Yeah, okay. Me, 2, maybe 3. I'm going to try for 3. Senior class.
Well, I mean, I don't know, other than, you know, I think you just got to be who you are. And I think being transparent and authentic with the people that you're around every day, you know, is always the best way to be. And but hopefully I can be a good example to all those around me through how I try to live my life. No. I think again, at the end of the day, nobody comes not knowing who you are, and so I think that, you know, everyone accepts each other and what their beliefs are, and you know, to each his own in that regard. Todd Bates. Todd Bates is a great football coach, and he was a guy that I kind of had my eye on for a while. He worked my camp. And so when I had Dan Brooks retired, Marion Hobby went to the Jags, I was able to hire him from Jacksonville State. He's just done a phenomenal job. I mean, he's a great man, family man. And I hire people first. That's what I always say. I recruit people first. I hire people first. Coach is second. And so he's a great man, great father, great young coach, and he's got a bright future for sure. But he's done an unbelievable job in impacting us in his own way his first couple seasons. Yeah, actually talked to the team about that last night. You know, it's really kind of unique. I guess he passed in June, and you know, he actually called me not long before that, and I'd sent him a jersey, and you know, I kept his voicemail. I couldn't delete it. You know, because he was. It took him a while to get the message out, but he was so appreciative of that jersey. And I mean, here's a guy who's got Super Bowl rings and you name it, and he was talking about how he couldn't wait to frame that jersey and put it up in his office, and how he still roots for his Tigers. And so it's just kind of neat that we're getting ready to play in a stadium that I think probably has a statue out there of him. And so we've got a couple things involved that I think will be special for our team. Well, I'd say that they are the exact same defensively. Just all three levels, amazing, physical, well coached. You got to fight for every inch of grass, every place contested. Just no different. They always got some freak inside, like that number 92, that you just go, oh my Lord. So that's no different. The biggest difference is this is by far the best version of the Alabama offense that we've seen in our matches with them. I mean, these guys are, I mean, they're scoring 47 a game. We score 44 a game. We've had 33 plays of 40 plus. They've had 30. So they're just explosive. Skill, dynamic quarterback, incredible backs, built in the trenches. So this is the biggest challenge we've had from an Alabama offense. I think we're about mirror images. You know, I think this is probably the most veteran team that I've had in this game, and I think it's the deepest team that I've had from a depth standpoint. You know, we've got a true freshman quarterback. Haven't had that, but he's dynamic. He's a playmaker. He's got great skill around him. This is the best rushing team that we've brought into this game. I think we're top 10 in the country in rushing. So I think this is probably our most balanced group. And then defensively, you know, as good as we've had in this game for sure. Thank you.
Yep, I think you'll really make it big.
I'll be a big time.
Yeah.
I think it makes him unique. I mean, there's a lot of things that make quarterbacks great. Certainly size, the measurables, athletic ability, arm talent, accuracy, ability to process things. But I think one of the more underrated things is poise and demeanor, and he's just special, you know, when it comes to that. He just is always the same. How he responds to great plays, how he responds to a bad play. He's really special in that regard. Yeah, I thought it was pretty Christian Wilkins like. That's just how he's wired. He's always going to be the opposite of what you think. I mean, he just, you know, you think that, all right, here's a guy, he's got his degree, he's done, he's coming back for his last year, he's just going to, you know, take basket weaving for a semester and go pro. And no, he's getting his master's degree. Oh, and by the way, he wants, because he's got a little extra time, he wants to go substitute teach kindergartners. Like, who does that? You know, but that's Christian. That's how he's wired. So very, very apropos for him. Yep. I don't think it influenced my way of running our program. He didn't come in. We run our. When he came in, I said, hey, you know, I don't need you to come in here and change this program-wise. We are who we are. You need to kind of go on a year listening to her because we're very different. But I want you to make us better, and I want you to. And so I kind of put him in charge of you know, just helping us from I put him in all of our recruiting. I wanted to build a recruiting department. And but then more importantly, just facilities. He has this incredible knowledge and gift when it comes to looking at a space and making something great out of it. And so he's been an awesome addition for us, and he brings a great edge to our staff. But I mean, our new facility, what we did in the West Zone when he got there immediately, what we've done with our new facility, I mean, his hands were on all of that. And his ability to drive those things, because he has such a great knowledge base from all aspects of the construction and so forth. And then, but as he has gotten infused in our program and adjusted to kind of how we run things, he has made us better in so many ways. I mean, he's been one of the best hires that I've ever made, for sure. I'm real proud of Thad and the impact that he's had on our program. Yeah, I think he's just kind of caught his breath. You know, I think for all freshmen, they all hit a wall somewhere, and you know, it's because it's a long season and it's a day in and day out grind, especially for us. You know, you take a guy like Justin Ross. Every day he comes to practice, he's got to go against Trayvon Mullen and A.J. Terrell, Mark. I mean, he's not dealt with that. You know, he's not had those days of practice every day, and so there's just no day off. Every single day, you better show up or you get exposed. So there's a lot of adjusting that comes with that for these young players. And so I think he hit a little wall early, but pushed through it. Man, he is as good as we've ever signed, physically, mentally, just gifted ball skills. And, you know, he's had a huge impact. I think he made freshman All-American and all that stuff. And he and T have been a great kind of dynamic duo at that 9-man position for us. But you best believe there's a lot more to come from that guy. He's going to have a phenomenal career.
Do you get a little like, there's certain people?
It's been an amazing run. You know, our guys, we've won 54 games. They've won 55. So the difference was last year. They got us. You know, I think that this is the way it should be. The two best teams, the two best programs, the most consistent, having a chance to kind of battle it out for all the marbles.
I've never had a partner.
How you doing? Good to see you. Well, I choose a word for the year every year, and I will kind of use that, and that just comes from God. You know, I pray on it, and it's usually a word that just comes into my head, and eventually I'm like, this is my word, and I will use that all year. My word this year was joy. Just wanted to have joy in the moment, you know, and for me, you know, joy comes from when you focus on Jesus, others, and yourself. You know, and to me, that helps me stay focused and keep my priorities in order, and to just have joy in the moment, you know, and not let anything steal it. And so I think when you've had the amount of success that we've had, man, and the busyness that comes with it and this and that, you can get so distracted. And I just, for me, just keeping the main thing, and I know that you know, one day I'm not going to be doing this. I'm going to have the opportunity to do this. My kids are going to be grown, and you know, I'm going to be, you know, I don't know where I'll be. I'll be out there hanging out with y'all, interviewing somebody or whatever. But I just want to, and I knew I had this great team, and I just wanted to have great joy in the moment, just the day-to-day, because that's really what we're made from is the day-to-day, the struggles, the grind, the successes, the relationships that you have along the way with these guys. And And so I've been intentional with that all year. And then for our staff, we just kind of have a message that actually it rotates around the room. And so everybody has the opportunity to speak whatever they want to speak to the staff. And then I usually listen to them. And then I will take something from whatever that's on their heart and apply it, and then we get on with our business. So it's a great way for us to serve each other as men. Yeah, you know, they just call me Dad if they ever need me, you know. Yeah, it's really cool, man. It's been one of the greatest joys of my life to be able to watch my kids, because I know what our program is about, and to know that they're getting that my own kids are getting what we've been giving so many other kids for years is awesome to me. So it's a blessing. Thank you. That it? All right.